Hello, everyone. Welcome to Going Solo with Cece. You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. We are the #1 internet singles talk network, and we are just so happy that you're joining us here tonight. I am Cece Schatz, your host. I'm the doyen of relationship building, and what that means is I really help move you through probably one of the darkest times in your life through to living your best life. And along the way, we have great coaches, mentors, and professionals that we share their knowledge, their journey, of what they experienced in life and their expertise. So we are really excited about our guest tonight here on the network. But before we do that, let's do a little homework. Of course, all of our shows are right there on goingsolomedia.com. You can find pretty much everything right there. Also, you can find all of our singles connection information on Going Solo Network.com, and there's a place there, each site you can connect with and send me a message if you'd like. I'd love to hear from you. So let's get on with our show because we got a lot going on here tonight. I'm going to bring our guest forward. She is a dream expert, and let's bring her here. Her name is Velva Lee Heraty. Am I saying it right? Heraty?
Yes, you are, Cece.
Okay. Wonderful. And our talk tonight is going to be on dreams have meaning. And you have been in the dream business, I would say, we'll call it that, for quite some time. So tell us a little bit about your journey, your education, because you're extremely educated in this field.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got into the interest of dreams.
Well, it is an interesting story because it was a journey. I became a clinical social worker. I'm from Chicago, and I went to Loyola, Master of Social Work from Loyola University of Chicago. And I just sort of feel destined to be some sort of a service provider, helper, some sort of way to be of service. And I specialized in families, dysfunctional families, and I was doing great. And even before I graduated social work school, I started seeing clients. Wasn't supposed to, but the phone started ringing. So I went into private practice pretty much right away. But then I paused that and I thought, I don't feel that experienced. So I took an internship at Chicago in the famous Cook County Hospital. And they gave me the task of researching late-stage alcoholic patients, recidivist patients that would come in over and over again with the same diagnosis. And I wound up getting a secretary, and I wound up having doctors as advisors. And it was like, I was there for 3 years, and it went so fast, I can't begin to tell you what an amazing experience that was. And I learned that Cook County was a pre-med students, they'd fight all over the world to get an internship there. It was the most well-known and largest teaching hospital at that time. So it was very exciting. But and then it sort of tied into the dysfunctional family systems I was planning to become more involved with in my private practice. I kept a small private practice. So I'm going to flash forward. One of my clients one day brought me a dream. And I looked at him and he looked at me and he said, "This is really, really important to me. You have to help me." And I said, "I can't." And we just looked at each other and I finally said, "Hey, I am going to find out though. I can't, but I'll find out." Because in social work school and everything I was learning, it was clinical social work. It's nothing to do with dreams. So off I went and I started asking people, where can I learn about dreams? And I was pointed to the Jung Institute, and that's spelled Jung, Carl Jung Institute in Evanston, Illinois. And if you know Chicago, you know Evanston is the next door neighbor. That's where Northwestern University is.
I lived there for a while.
Oh, okay. Then you know. Yeah. So I went there and I immediately became involved in learning the Jungian style, if you will, of dealing with dreams. But it was more than that. I found that I was wanting more and more and more. I left Cook County Hospital, and I'll tell you, I left because I had a proposal to start a ward for alcoholic families, a kind of a ward where you could, the patient would come, but family could come, and you could do interventions. And so it would be a designated ward. And I was sitting in the waiting room, and there's a young doctor sitting across from me, and it's clear he's got a proposal too. And so with the two of us, and we're outside the board of directors at Cook County Hospital, and they came out and they thanked us and everything. And a week later, I found out that his proposal, got the funding and mine didn't. And I was very upset. Mm-hmm. And he called me. He says, Velva, I'm Dr. Blank. And he said, he says, but I want to tell you something. People are dying of AIDS. And his was the first proposal to have an AIDS ward in the city of Chicago. I didn't know what that meant. And I remember saying to him, well, people are dying of alcoholism too. Mm-hmm. He says, well, I know, but AIDS is, he seemed to, I can't remember his response. He agreed, but, and I think they also wanted to do research with that population too. It's a very huge research institute. So I said, well, I'm glad it went for a good cause. I didn't know what to say. Mm-hmm. So I left the hospital at that point, and I became very invested in the Jungian community and what it really meant to be a Jungian. And I started studying dreams, and I wound up being at the Institute for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And I worked with the young man who brought me the dream, who said it was really, really important. And it was really important. And I found over time, it made a difference in his life. It brought him back to his parents' country of origin to find his lost relatives. And he also found his life's purpose there too. A lot of people come into therapy not because they're neurotic or they're going crazy, but they're lost. Their self-identity has taken a big hit. And so there's a lot of reasons people come into therapy. That doesn't mean they're, they could probably not go into therapy, but it's a lot easier to have a professional guide. Like CC steers you through the singles. Mm-hmm. Now I'll steer you through your self-identity. You find out who you are. Mm-hmm. And it's quite an adventure too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally get that. Totally understand. The thing is what I have found, and I'm sure you have too, is that people, they resonate with you, because it's like other like-minded individuals, right? You have a connection with them because you totally, you're an expert in your field, or you have a true understanding of what they're feeling, what they're going through, what they're experiencing. So people do connect that way. So yeah.
Well, it was very helpful to be a social worker first.
Yes.
That was a true foundation, because I could see clinical issues in dreams, and I could see things that maybe somebody, a traditional analyst wouldn't necessarily see. Mm-hmm. Because of the clinical social work background. But my practice grew tremendously. I started doing research. I wound up going all over the world, presenting at conferences all over the world. And it was very, very satisfying. I felt I had found my life purpose. Mm-hmm. And then one day I realized I was working with a client, and we were just about to get to the heart of their dream when the time was up. And we were both frustrated. She looked at me, I looked at her, and I said, the time's up. So from that point on, I started to look for a method where you could work in a dream in a certain period of time. Not that you're going to completely solve the mystery of the dream, but you're not going to walk out empty-handed.
Right.
So I created a methodology, and then I wrote a book about it. So that book is still selling. That was 6 years ago, and I'm not getting a lot of royalties, but it's still being purchased. So I felt really real good about that. And one person said I bought it. It's a reference book for me. If I have a dream that upsets me or I need to look at it, I use your book. So, there was all kinds of rewards from this. People getting a dream. I had a woman, a fellow therapist, refer somebody to me. She said, this woman is having this nightmare over and over and over again. And she doesn't even want to go to bed anymore. She's my client and I don't know dreams. Will you see her? And I said, absolutely. So the woman shows up at my door and I'm all primed to deal with this intense nightmare. And here's the dream. I said, okay. Well, she sits down. She's twisting a Kleenex or a handkerchief in her hand. She said, I dream the phone is ringing over and over again and nobody answers it. And I leaned forward, waiting for her to go on. And that was the whole dream.
Wow.
So there wasn't a lot of material to work with. But there's three methodologies that you can look at dreams. One is the Freudian, where dreams are related to what he calls the drive theory, which is about human sexuality, procreation, fantasies, but it's a theory that ends at the Oedipal complex. It's organized around an Oedipal complex. For Carl Jung, who was trained by Freud, who said, hey, what about us old folks? What about people that are 12, 13, and 14? And he said, I want to learn more about that. So he left Freud and he went to do his own. So he's the father of analytical psychology. It's a different methodology, but it doesn't disregard Freud, but it goes beyond Freud. So that was what appealed to me, because at that point, I mean, we all dream. We can be 95, we can be 5, dreams are universal. Let's see, there's 7 billion people in the world today. And that means 7 billion people are dreaming 4 to 5 times a night. That's a lot of dreams flying around.
Right.
Yeah.
So you normally dream 4 to 5 times an individual
Yes.
dream that?
Yeah.
See, that I didn't know.
But that doesn't mean you'll remember them.
Right. I hardly remember, but the ones I do remember, it seems like it's almost a message of some sort.
They are.
Yeah.
They're all messages, but some are important and some aren't. Some are little post-it notes and some are telegrams, So there's 3 types of dreams that I specialize in. One is called the big dream. And that's a dream where you wake up, your heart is pounding. You remember everything about the dream. It haunts you. It's a haunting dream. And it's big and it demands attention. The other dream is the nagging dream, the repetitive dream, like the woman whose phone was ringing. Now I'll go back to that because it's interesting. So I looked at my clock. I had about 40 minutes to help this woman with this dream. And I knew she was going back to her regular therapist. So I said, okay. I asked her a million questions. I asked her to describe the phone, what color, what style, and she was pretty vague on all the questions. She agreed it was a white phone. But back then, we had princess phones, we had dial-in phones, we had wall phones. Everyone had one in their kitchen. And so, but she said it was a white phone. So I said, okay, now the pressure's on me. I said, okay, listen, I'm going to try a method with you. Don't freak out. But I want you to sit back and close your eyes and be the phone. And she looked startled. She said, what do you mean? I said, well, imagine that you're a phone ringing, 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 and nobody answers you. And within about 3 or 4 seconds, she sat bolt upright. And she said, I am the phone. And I said, what do you mean? She says, my whole family communicates through me. If my husband wants to talk to my son, he tells me to tell his son something. If my son wants to talk to his sister, he says, he tells me to tell her something. She said, I am the phone. And I said, wow, that's a really powerful position in a family. And she looked at me and she said, yes, but I'm exhausted. I said, well, no wonder that phone is nagging you. No wonder you had a nagging dream. You're exhausted. She said, I am. What should I do? And I said, just first of all, tell your therapist what happened today. But more importantly, go home and talk to your family, because this is not healthy communication in a family system. So see, my social work field, paid off in this one instance and many times. And I said, you all need to be able to talk to each other, not through you. It's and you're exhausted because it's too much responsibility.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the whole thing where you tell somebody something and then you tell it again, it changes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that was I wound up in a film about that dream, because a lot of people are lucid dreaming now, or they're trying to lucid dream, because you can't make yourself lucid dream. But
now, what does that mean exactly? A lucid
dream?
It
means that you're controlling the action in a dream.
Okay.
And I personally, sorry, lucid dreamers, don't get mad at me, but I don't believe it's really dreaming. I'm a traditionalist. Dreams happen in REM sleep. In REM sleep, you can't control anything. Go ahead and lucid dream, but I don't think it's a dream, a real dream. So I was the voice of dissent on a film about lucid dreaming. And, I told I told this story there. And, I try to tell people that the underlying mission I have is to let people know that their dreams are themselves. They're themselves talking to themselves. It's an inner dialogue, and everything in it stems from your unconscious. And I could go into Jungian theory and put you all to sleep, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to tell you that you've got to trust your dreams, even your nightmares.
Yeah.
Can I tell a nightmare story?
Sure.
Okay. One of my clients came to me, and she says, I'm really, really, really upset. And I said, what happened? And she said, I had this horrible dream. And she was upset. She said, I dreamed there was a crazy woman in the kitchen trying to kill my daughter with a knife. I said, that is upsetting. What happened? What happened? She says, well, in the dream, I grabbed my daughter and I hid her under the staircase. And then I went back into the kitchen to deal with the crazy woman, but she was gone. So I'd worked with this woman quite a while. I knew her and her family. And I said, well, what do you think it means? She says, well, I don't like to think this, but I think I'm the crazy woman. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, I'm so angry with my daughter sometimes. I feel like I want to kill her, with that purple hair and then metal all over her face and tattoos. And I said, I understand, but she's really smart, isn't she? She says, well, she is smart. That's true. But I still want to kill her sometimes. And so her and I could laugh about this. But I said, here's what you need to do. Go home and tell your daughter this dream. Tell her how you feel. Have a conversation, maybe a real conversation with her. And she said, oh, she won't listen to me. I said, try. Tell her you had a real interesting dream about her and she'll listen. And so she did. And her daughter had a real conversation. Did they become best buddies? No. But all the tension out of the relationship kind of dissolved. So this was this woman's nightmare that turned out to be her best friend and gave her a working relationship with her daughter, which she hadn't had before. So those are important things. But she paid attention to her dream. And that's what people, I feel, need to do. I mean, if I could rattle all the musicians, all the artists, all the poets, all the filmmakers that have Einstein, one of his inventions was because of a dream. Benjamin Franklin, Bowie sang about one of his songs one of his inspirations for one of his songs was a dream. artists and creatives listen to their dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they respect them.
I myself have dreams that I get up and I know that I have to do something. It's like a knowing. I call it like a feeling of knowing. I don't know where it came from, and it came from somewhere in my sleep, but I get up knowing I have to get this completed, whatever it was. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's something that I have to do right away. We have a comment here. Let's see what they're saying. Let's see. Said agree, dreams matter greatly. I love that. It's a book. There you go.
Oh,
So yeah, we definitely share your book and everything.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Well,
very
let me share the title, because believe it or not, I do not have a copy.
okay.
I don't have a copy here. I'd have to go buy one.
Mhm.
So, the book is called The Dream Belongs to the Dreamer. And thank you. Thank you who said that. Thank you. Was it Marianne? Marianne, thank you. The book is called The Dream Belongs to the Dreamer. And it's got my method in it. And it's, I think, $12.99. You can get it on Amazon. And I worked very, very hard to make this book material for the mainstream. My whole goal of writing this book was to have mainstream people be able to understand their dreams without going to somebody like me.
Mhm.
I mean, we all dream. People, I know people that keep dream journals. They don't even know what they mean, but they keep their dream journals.
Mhm.
And people are very invested in dreams. Other cultures. At the University of Chicago, I did a dream workshop. And that's a pretty impressive institution. And everybody in the audience, except for one woman, was from another country.
Wow.
And we just don't take it seriously in our country.
Mhm.
But
Well, it's
maybe,
very fascinating.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
If
we have to
people,
go on a quick break, and when we come back, I'll share with you, and I share with you offline a dream that I had, which was very significant to me. So I want to share that with the audience, and then get your reaction to it, because I thought it was very, very, very odd. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about that, and then also get a little bit more information out, your dream group, all of these things that you're doing, because we want to be able to connect with you for sure.
oh,
Okay.
thank you, Cece. Thank
All
you.
right. Sounds great.
This is fun.
Good. It is fun.
Wow.
Welcome back.
That was some positive break. All these happy people.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump in the computer and dance with them.
Absolutely. That's the way
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Okay, everyone, you're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is Going Solo with Cece, and I have a lovely guest here with me tonight. I'm very excited to have her. We're talking about dreams tonight. We have Dream Momma Velva Lee Heraty, and I'm so excited to have you on the show, because I think this is such an important subject, because as you said, we don't take our dreams that seriously. We wake up and we say, whatever, and we just kind of move on. But there are meanings behind the dream, and that's very important for us to to definitely take and pay attention to. So I promised at the first part of the show I would share with you a dream, and I know I shared with you offline, but recently I take care of my father. My father's been very, very sick off and on. Well, he'd been actually doing pretty well, but I had this dream where I can't remember everything that happened within the dream itself, but I remember that I smelt it cat pee, right? It smelled like cat pee to me. That's the only thing I could describe it was cat pee. And when I woke up, I smelled the cat pee. I smelled it on my hands. And I had went into the bathroom and I'm thinking like, what is going on? Why do I smell this smell? And when I went into the bathroom, I washed my hands, and it still took a long time for that smell to leave me. And then just to share with you, so I just kind of didn't know what that meant, but then I carried on with life and whatever. And then my father became ill. And when he was in the hospital, he was in the hospital for like a week. And when he came out, he had to have this particular antibiotic. He had like they called it a PICC line that was there. And I had to administer this antibiotic to him. And I got it on my hands one day, and I went to, kind of get it off, and I could smell. And it was that smell that I had smelled
That's amazing.
in my dream. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is the cat pee that I smelled. And it was really that antibiotic that I had on my hands. So isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. And it falls into a category of dreams. It can be one or the other, but a lot of dreams are foretelling. They're dreams of the projections of what's going to happen. Lincoln, I think it was Lincoln, yeah, he dreamed of his own assassination. So there's quite a few dreams like that, but you think your dream is sort of a hybrid dream. It's a dream about the future, but it's also a dream. It's also a body dream. It involves your senses, and when you wake up and you actually have that visceral, olfactory sense of a dream, that's called a body dream. So you had a combination of dreams that really gave you sort of a forewarning, but you didn't know what it was warning you of.
Right.
No. What happened when you smelled the medication? Tell me about that.
When I smelled it on my hand, well, I wear rubber gloves, of course,
Yeah.
on my hands, but it had kind of broke open and had gotten on my hands a lot.
Sure.
And then when I smelt it, I was like shocked, because I thought, oh my gosh, this is the cat pee that I smelled.
Yeah.
Because it was so distinctive. I mean, the smell was so like as cat pee is, when a cat pees something and they
you can't miss it.
Mark,
yeah,
it was that very distinctive odor. And I thought, well, my dream must have had some sort of connection to this, but I don't remember. I don't recall. Maybe I was in a deep enough sleep that I didn't recall that it was my dad or what it was.
right.
But I did know that it was important. I knew that it meant something big, and
All right.
and I couldn't wash it off my hands. That was the other thing. It's like when I woke up, I smelt it in the room, and then I smelt my hands, and I realized that the smell is coming from my hands. So I went to the bathroom and I used soap and I washed them several times, and they still had that odor, that faint odor through. But then after a while, I kept going around to my dad, smell my hands, smell my hands. And but then it kind of went away. But when I was administering the antibiotic, I was just shocked. I didn't know,
Was it comfortable on some level? Did you feel comforted?
Not really. I just felt
No.
shocked. I felt shocked.
Okay. And then what happened?
Nothing. I just kind of went on. I thought, well, that must have been what it is. It must have been, I felt to myself that it must have been kind of bracing me, warning me that, this was going to happen, but maybe my subconscious,
That's okay. I got it.
Dad being sick, but
did you feel comforted once you had that thought?
Yeah. Yeah. I figured
Okay.
that probably was my subconscious, kind of burying that part,
Because
but
it also speaks of the strong connection you have with your dad.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Or,
Hmm.
so I think it's a powerful dream on many levels,
Hmm. Yeah. Well,
How's
I
he
will
doing?
hear him calling me, like, and sometimes when I'm sleeping, I'll hear him very distinctively saying my name. I'll wake up and I run to his room, and he might have needed something or wanted something, but he didn't call me.
Mhm.
So he's just frustrated because he couldn't get it, and he's like, oh, I hope she wakes up soon, that kind of thing. And I heard him. So yeah,
That's a very powerful connection.
yeah.
And I'm sure it gives you a great deal of comfort to be that connected. I
Well,
mean, I work with people that don't even talk to their fathers, you know what I mean? Much
yeah,
less
that's
are
true.
connected to them. So,
That's true. That's true.
and you'll carry that energy as the years go on. You'll carry his loving energy with you.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what more could you want? Which reminds me of a dream. Can I talk about singles and solos and divorce dreams for a
Oh
minute?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely.
Um, And I thought about it as you talked about the connection you had with your dad. I thought about a young woman who brought me a dream that she was dancing with somebody and she couldn't see the person's face. And it was a repetitive dream. And every time she tried to see the person's face, she just couldn't. So I started talking to her and I said, well, when did this dream start? And she said, well, it started about a week or so after my grandfather died. So I always pay attention to death and transitions in people's lives
Mhm.
stimulate dreaming. So I said, well, tell me about your grandfather. So she describes this wonderful elderly man who she loved. She adored her grandfather. It was a significant loss for her. She was still grieving. And then we went back to the dream. And I use something called active imagination often with a person in a dream.
Mhm.
And when in this particular dream, she was dancing with a person. She could not see the person's face. And I said, well, close your eyes and imagine stepping away and looking at the person, because she was trying to see him while she was dancing with him. Look at the person face on. And she did that. And I said, what do you see? And she says, I don't see anything. And then I said, well, what do you want to see? She said, I want to see my grandfather.
Mhm.
So when she came back to, relaxation, I said, I'll tell you what, you don't see a face on the person in the dream because you haven't met him yet. But clearly you want to marry somebody like your grandfather that
Mhm.
has the same qualities and characteristics. And when you do, you might even dream of seeing his face. And she felt so good about that. She says, oh, yes, I'm hoping to meet somebody like my grandfather. So we have these um, wish fulfillment dreams. I've worked with people who dreamed of a partner that passed. I've worked with a lot of people who dreamed of they've been through a divorce
Mhm.
and the ex appears in a dream. And they're very upset that the ex is in their dreams. I'm done with that, or they're not upset. They wish they were, depending on what end of the divorce you're at. But these things are very meaningful. But the rule of dreams that makes everything easier for people is it's not your ex, it's a symbol. When you dream of symbols of the past, be it a person, a situation, a car, your favorite dress, an event, when you dream of the past, it's not about the person, it's about what was going on in your life when you dreamed of that person. So the ex appearing in this particular woman's dream meant that she had to go and sort of review why she got married and why she got divorced. She had never really processed her marriage in a way that helped her internalize and understand it and not make the same mistake again. And so these symbols come forward and they say, hey, look at this, look at me. Mm-hmm. And it upset her because she thought it was her ex, but it wasn't. And then she relaxed and she could look at what the divorce, what her marriage, and what she really went through in the marriage was, she came out of that marriage with PTSD, a horrible passive aggressive relationship. So this helps people. It helps people when these messages come forward from their unconscious and say, look at me, look at me, look at me. And
it's amazing. It truly is. Now, what about if you dream like objects, money, and things like that? What does that?
Well, as long as you see them symbolically. Mm-hmm. And that's where people get in trouble with their dreams. Oh, I dreamed such and such. And then they make it personal. They make it excuse me. They don't treat it symbolically. Mm-hmm. And so one woman dreams, she says, I was on a trip. I said, oh, okay, where were you going? She said, well, I don't know. And I said, well, she said, where do you think you're going? She says, well, I think I'm going on I think it's going to be a good trip. So it dawned on me, to ask her this next question. I said, well, who are you? Are you driving? Oh, no, I'm not driving. I'm on a bus. I said, oh, you're on a bus. Who else is on the bus? She says, well, I looked around. It's all my extended family. Now, part of dream work is in transition, people are going to the next level of self-awareness. Dreams help carry you to their next level of self-awareness when you're more conscious. Mm-hmm. I said, well, okay, well, who's driving? She says, oh, it's my grandfather. We have a grandfather again. And I said, tell me about your grandfather. She says, well, he's a family patriarch. And, it turned out she was from a different culture where, well, that even can happen in our culture, but it's more prominent in other cultures, where the family patriarch runs the show. And everybody gets on his bus and he drives. And this was telling her that her yearning for individuation and for separateness and for sense of self couldn't happen as long as she stayed on the bus. Oh, so this really happens, this stuff. I said, okay, we're going to use the bus as a metaphor. Mm-hmm. From now on, I want you to imagine that you're sitting in a different seat. She was sitting sort of in the middle of the bus alone. Mm-hmm. I said, I want you to start moving around the bus. And we worked on that. And it became sort of a journey of her finally getting in the driver's seat of the bus. And the end of her therapeutic work and the end of her self-development and personal growth and everything, she got off that bus. And she began her own life journey. There are many, many people that are really on somebody else's journey. Wow. And they have to start thinking of their journey. Where am I going? What do I need in life? Mm-hmm. Where can I be of service? What can I need? What's my life purpose? What's my goal? It's just, the list is endless. Mm-hmm. Is that helpful?
Yeah, it's amazing though to take, like the dream and then kind of really dig deep into it and really get that true meaning of what it was. And honestly, I think if we look at our dreams and analyze them a little bit more, we'll find answers there that we need to really maybe ask ourselves, or to help us in that transition of moving forward in our lives.
I'm going to tell you and your listeners, readers, viewers, pretty much how to do that. I'm going to share with you. First of all, you have to stop asking everybody else what your dream means. Mm-hmm. I titled my book, The Dream Belongs to the Dreamer, because nobody else can tell you what your inner dialogue means except you. The other thing is, throw away all those simple books. They're totally worthless. They're fine in a sort of a generic way, but you can't find out what your dream means through a simple book. What you have to do is take possession of the symbol, whatever it is, the white phone, okay, the person you're dancing with, the crazy woman with a knife. They're symbols of something. And the quickest way in my method is you identify the primary symbol in a dream, the one thing that stands out over everything else. And you write it down on a piece of paper. I've had artists, they draw it. You can dance, you can write a poem about it. But the basic fundamental technique is to write it down on a piece of paper. The white phone, a white phone. Put a circle around it and radiate lines from that circle. Make free association. You free associate with the symbol and suddenly, bingo, you've made a connection. I could tell you a million stories. I've been doing this for over 30 years about how this works and how if you pay attention and if you get in a quiet little space, I call it get your sacred space, a temenos, and sit down, write it down, right? The white phone, put a circle around it and then start radiating and just free associate. Or if you have a dream that ends prematurely and then I woke up, well, you go back to the end of the dream and you use active imagination and you continue on with the dream. It's your dream. It's all about you. It's not about anybody else. Okay. And they have, it's just,
so fascinating. Truly.
And it's their best friend. I have to say this, it's your best friend too.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree with that. Well, everyone, our time is coming to an end, and I hate that, but I just want to share again with you guys the book here. It's a 5-star review. She's gotten 5-star reviews on this book on Amazon. The Dream Belongs to the Dreamer. Please go out and get it if you want to find out a little bit more about your dreams, be able to read it, understand that a little bit more. Also, you have Dream Momma has a email here, dreammomma@gmail.com. You do have a group that you do. It's a very small group that about dreams, right?
I'm starting a group March 12th. It's because I go bi-coastal. I'm bi-coastal. I do everything on Zoom. It starts at 3:00 on a Friday. It runs for 10 weeks. I limit the group to, I'm comfortable with 6, 7, no more than 8 people. And it's only $12 per week. And I've got 4 people now, and I'd love to have a couple more. But we're going to go as it is, And it's a processing group. You bring your dream to the group or your symbol to the group or whatever. And people ask you, I have a way that what was hard for me to develop and took a long time was what questions to ask people when they bring their dream. I say, okay, they found the primary symbol. Then what do you ask them? What about the primary symbol? Or if they can't find it, help them find it. But help the dreamer through questioning them, not saying things, well, if it were my dream, because it's not your dream.
Right.
It never will be your dream. So this is the best method I found that takes a shortcut. This is a shortcut to dream analysis.
I'm sorry, when is the class again? It's March
12th.
March 12th.
Is that a Friday? It's a Friday, right?
Probably check.
I'm like the absent-minded professor sometimes.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
We have our newspaper going out each week. And so I'll put it in our newspaper and see if anyone is interested. They can email you. And
perfect, because I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'm sort of a missionary for dreams, so I'd love to spread this word as much as possible. And frankly, Cece, I'd love to come back someday in the future.
We'd love to have you come back. Absolutely. We would love it in a heartbeat. No problem.
And we can get people to submit dreams beforehand.
Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah. I'll mention it to my divorce support group and see if they have things that they can send us and stuff. So that would be awesome. Well, listen, we're going to have to wrap up because we have another show after this, but it has been a delight having you and understanding that dreams do have meaning. And we have Dream Momma here. And so definitely come back on the show with us again. We would love it. Okay?
Thank you, Cece. This has been great.
Okay. Well,
Great.
you are great. And and thank you so much for your time. We really do appreciate it
Okay.
so
Well,
much.
goodbye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
And come and reach out and be in a group or have a consultation. You can just call me to have a consultation about a dream.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I hope everyone does. Absolutely. Well, gosh, you guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is Going Solo with Cece. You heard it right here from Dream Momma. If you're interested in joining her dream group, which is going to be on March the 12th, it's a small group. It's very limited. So you must email her at dreammomma@gmail.com. And if you can't make the group, that's not a problem. You just email her. She'll work out something. Oh, here, Marianne says she's in. Awesome, Marianne. We hope that you will join us there. That would be great. And Marianne had also read the book so we want to definitely make sure that you guys know about the book too. So you guys, you've got a lot of information here tonight, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did. So come back to us here on Going Solo with Cece. Let us know what you do like, and start writing down. Like, so as soon as you wake up and you wake up from these dreams, get a piece of paper and write it down about your dream. And your dream has meanings, and you never know where that's going to take you, that transition of that dream. So, and any questions at all, you just email Dream Momma at dreammomma@gmail.com, and she will help you trying to decipher what all of that is. So thank you so much for joining us. Again, all of our shows right on goingsolomedia.com. We have wonderful hosts here on the station, and I hope that you'll check us out. We got a show right after this, and it's it's Janet Reynolds. Janet M. Reynolds is going to be on right after here. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube Live, stick around. We've got Janet Reynolds, Insight with Blue Feather. After that, we got the boy and girl thing. You don't want to miss that one. We're back on the air again, and we're excited about that. After that, of course, we've got Arnie Fonseca, and he has the Health, Love, and Life show, and that's going to be an interesting show tonight. So we are going to keep you busy all night long. So it is nice spending the evening with you, that's for sure. Love you guys, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.